Welcome back to Words with Michelle, the podcast, a podcast where I, your host, Michelle, spotlights inspiring changemakers, innovators, and voices you need to hear. To listen to each show, you can subscribe to Words with Michelle on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and wherever you listen to podcasts. Before we start the show, I would like you to know that this is a departure from my normal shows. It's a checking in episode. And in this episode, I nervously share with you something that I'm currently going through. If you're a caregiver, you may understand. Thanks for tuning to the latest episode of Words with Michelle, the podcast. Just a reminder, my podcast drops monthly, so the next show will drop in early August. Have you been wondering why you don't see me much online? Or why my episodes went from weekly to bi weekly to monthly? This episode addresses that. This is a checking in episode. A lot has been going on in my life behind the scenes, which is having a definite impact on my mental health and podcast. If you've been feeling overwhelmed or burnt out or having a tough time with new challenges, this conversation is for you. Y'all, it's been a season. The season has lasted 2 long years, but got worse last year. To be completely honest, the season started way back in 2021, but only got noticeably worse in the past year and a half. It's been almost 3 years since I had my fibroid surgery, something that completely changed my quality of life for the better. I wasn't feeling nauseous all the time. I was able to walk long distances. My fibroid tummy was gone. I looked and felt better. Almost immediately after I recovered from surgery, I noticed something was different with my mom. It wasn't just that she was forgetful and moving slower. Her whole personality seemed to change. She became easily agitated, argumentative, glum, just not the woman that I knew. I thought that she'd revert to her old cheerful self, so I waited and waited, but nothing happened. This new person was here to stay. It became very difficult speaking with my mom because I would find myself repeating what I said over and over and over. My patience was waning, and I had to try real hard to not get angry when I was forced to repeat myself 4 times in a row. Although I knew it was an age related issue, it became physically draining to answer the same question multiple times a day. Repeating myself was one challenge, but the anger directed at me was surprising and upsetting. Being a primary caregiver, I was told that we were the ones that received the harshest treatment. In my case, this is completely true. I've been dragged into pointless arguments, had insults hurled at me, and dealt with aggressive behavior. The last person you want to have this type of relationship is with your mom. So I had to try to be patient and to take the harsh treatment. Yes, I failed 8 out of 10 times. I tried to remain quiet or at least not retaliate when I'm chastised, but it got too much. I had to take my mom to the doctor to get some answers. When we arrived at the appointment, my mom went into the doctor's office and was there for a few minutes. Then my mom's doctor opened the door and signaled for me to come into her room to join my mom. Literally, seconds after I sat down, the doctor matter of factly said, "Your mom has early signs of dementia." Hearing those words felt like a blow to my chest. Even though I had suspicions that that had been the case, I felt like the world had stopped. The doctor kept speaking, but I was still processing the words, "She has dementia." I thought I'd be relieved to finally know what was happening with my mom, but I was filled with so much pain and sorrow. I sat motionless as the doctor told me that I have to give my mom her meds and take care of everything else that she could no longer do on her own. I cried when I got home. I cried because I felt bad for my mom. I cried because I was scared and nervous. I didn't know what was to come. I had questions. How quickly would my mom decline? Can I work and still be a full time caregiver? How bad are things going to get? Things got bad real fast. My mom was angry that I took her to see the doctor, and she spewed all her aggression on me. I looked for help from my caregiver support worker and my bereavement counselor. I also contacted the Alzheimer's Society. They provided temporary relief. What I mean is that when I spoke with them, I felt like I could handle this new phase in life. But when I had to deal with the daily challenges, I found myself crumbling. I was told by family, friends, and my support worker that I was completely burnt out. From juggling and never ending responsibilities and still trying to work on my podcast and promote my book and have a life, I was at the end of my rope. I started to realize it wasn't possible for me to work on my podcast like I used to. I thought the only way to solve this problem was to publish shows monthly, giving myself plenty of time to work on it. But that didn't help. Even though I gave myself more time to work on each episode, my mom's demands tripled. She needed assistance throughout the day. This is what a typical day would look like. As soon as I would sit down to work on my show, my mom would call out to me. I would get up, tend to my mom, then return to my laptop 10 minutes later, and then forget what I was working on. My creative process was now affected. That concerned me. The one thing I have total control over is working on my show, conducting interviews, editing, and promotion. I am a one woman machine. Sidebar: being a one woman machine doesn't exactly make me happy. It's exhausting, but I'm not Oprah, so I gotta do things on my own. Back to the story. So, not being able to put the time into working on my podcast or promoting my book has made me sad and frustrated. I love sharing inspirational stories, meeting new people to interview, the whole podcast experience. But being a caregiver has taken a toll on me. I battle feelings of sadness, guilt, and anger all day long. I want to be there for my mom, but I also need to do things that make me feel happy and whole. It's a lot, y'all. Wrapping my head around being a caregiver, watching my mom lose herself, and feeling like I'm jeopardizing my career was heavy on my heart. Lately, I sit at my desk trying to be creative and productive, and it almost never works. I end up crying, not posting, not connecting with my audience, and feeling terrible. The season is long and painful. I want to help my mom and make things better for her during this time. I'm just having a tough time at the moment. To those listening who are caregivers, taking care of your parents and navigating life's issues, I see you, I feel you, and it's not easy. I hope this episode gives you a sneak peek into my world. I know the show is different from my normal upbeat and inspirational content that you know and love, so I apologize for that. But I wanted to be real and share with you what I'm currently going through. Thanks for listening. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. I'd love to hear from you. Send me a message or share your thoughts on social media on my Instagram page at WordsWMichelle, on TikTok at Words with Michelle, and my YouTube channel at Words with Michelle. And don't forget to subscribe and leave a message on Spotify and Apple Podcasts so more listeners can find the show. Until next time, bye.